The time is just gone 9:34 a.m. as we continue this morning, and we are now linking up with the co-founder of the Free Rohingya Coalition, Lwin, and we're talking about a prominent Rohingya leader who was shot dead in a Bangladeshi refugee camp. Lwin, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yes, wonderful that you are able to join us this morning. Now, let's talk about this report that has come through about this prominent Rohingya leader that was killed. Let's just talk about who the person is. We are led to believe it was somebody in his late 40s, and his name is Mohibullah.
Well, it's a great loss for our community. He's a prominent leader there. Since after he fled from the Myanmar to Bangladesh in 2017, he has organized several events there, and also he went to the Geneva and he spoke at the UN Human Rights Council, and also he went to the United States, and he met with the President, the then President Donald Trump at the Oval Office. So, and he has raised our issue at international level, and also been closely working with the international organization. Those are visiting the camp, and also international dignitaries. Those are visiting the camp. So he is the most popular leader in the camp, and most of the ordinary Rohingya refugees are following him. And also he has been advocating for the quick repatriation since 2018. So some of the elements, who do not want the repatriation, and also who do not want to see his popularity targeted him. And finally, on September 29, after the Isha prayer, he went to the Isha prayer with his colleague, and then he came back to his office where he was speaking to the other refugee there. So while he was talking with a group of people, this unknown gunman, they came into his office and shot him to death. Of course, at this twice. And then, he was taken to the MSS hospital. From there, he was referred to another hospital called Sadar, where the doctor pronounced his death. So the killer behind this killing is, according to his brother, he has his younger brother who witnessed this incident. He said, this is the work of the Arkan Rohingya Salvation Army, which group claimed that, they are the freedom fighter for the Rohingya, but in reality, we doubt that, whether they are working for the Rohingya or just to eliminate those Rohingya activists and the leader, who are working for the Rohingya, So they are also carrying out some other, criminal activities in the camp.
Yes. Now, it is clear from what you have just described and how the incident has taken place, how he was shot. And as you mentioned, he came out of the Isha prayers, and he was obviously meeting with some people that one cannot rule out. Obviously, criminality is one issue, but one cannot rule out that there could be a specific reason as to why they had shot him, to the point of possibly it could even be an assassination.
Well, that the people are mostly, including the Bangladesh authority, they are saying, he is the pro-repatriation, and, those people who killed him, they don't want the repatriation. This is the basic fact. But there are some other motive behind this killing as well. I think there will be a number of reasons. One of the reasons is the group, that I mentioned, the insurgency group. They call themselves they are insurgency, but what they are actually doing is the criminal activity. They don't want any leader in the camp, And also there are some other, the civil society leader, they are also under threat, and nobody really, brave enough to speak up against them. So uh, the basic, another basic fact is, this group, they want to dominate the camp. They don't want anyone to be the leader of the refugee. So I think this the reason is the reason is this reason are behind this killing.
Yes. Now, obviously, we've learned so much over a period of time with regard to what is taking place in those Bangladeshi refugee camps. And we know that to the point that refugees are being exploited in more ways than one. And even the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, saying that they were deeply saddened by the killing. But there have been many, many concerns over the last years with regard to these refugees, their treatment, and how they are being exploited, Nate.
Well, there are a number of criminal gangs in the camp. Not only this group, there are many other groups. The problem is, the security. The Bangladesh authority need to provide them the tightened security in the camp, and they have to eliminate all the criminal group. Then that the refugee can live with peace and stability. But so far this has been happening many times since the refugee arrived there. This is not the first time a prominent figure was killed. This is in the past. There are many other figures were killed as well. So the world only focus on who they are connected. Like Mohibullah is the most popular leader there, and he has been dealing with all the international organizations. So this became the big headline over the international media. Even the Secretary of the State from the United States, he expresses condolence and also condemn the killing, and many other, including the Turkey and all the organization, government, they are very much concerned of this killing. But before that, this happened many times. So that only the Bangladesh authority can provide the safety and the this stability in the camp. And when the brother Murbula got the threat from this group, he and his colleagues in abroad, from the international organization, and they sought the protection from the United Nations and the embassy in Bangladesh. But so far, no one provided him the protection. If they provided him the protection, this would not happen. And also now his family also under threat, and also his brother, and other colleagues are also under threat. But still, they are in the camp. Nobody is relocated by the United Nations or the other, the authority. So since we are the Bangladesh side, we are the helpless people, vulnerable people. We don't have anything by ourselves. We are just depending on the Bangladesh and the international community. So we are just, requesting and appealing the international community and the Bangladesh authority to provide the better security for this refugee population.
Yes. Now, they just how vulnerable are the people living in those camps against these criminal activities of the gangs that are operating in the refugee camps? Because we have learned about increasing problems relating to violence, and often some of that is linked to even control of illegal drugs.
Well, this is a very crowded and a dire camp. In the small area, there are over 1 million refugees are taking shelter. We are in the town, in the popular city. So the crime are happening also in the popular city and the town as well. So this has to be controlled by the concerned authority. So in the camp, since we are in the foreign soil, and there are limited security forces, nobody, the security forces, they only provide the security during the daytime, but at night, the criminal gang, they became the, night government. So at night, nobody dare to go out from their shelter. So whenever they speak out about the the criminal activity, uh, they were targeted. So most of the people, they keep silent. They fear, the reprisal. So nobody dare to speak out against this criminal gang. So uh, this there this existence of the criminal gangs should be eliminated by the concerned authority. We cannot do anything. The refugee population, they cannot do anything because there is no one like the popular leader Mozilla was what provided the protection. So how about the ordinary refugee? They will not be provided any protection for sure. That is why no one dare to speak out. So they are completely like helpless and they dare not to speak anything against the criminal gang.
Yes. Now we've learned obviously that the Bangladeshi authorities, wanting to expedite an investigation into this murder and bring those who are suspected of this crime. They want to bring them to justice, and we trust and hope that they take this matter seriously. And I'm sure even with the killing of Mohibullah, it's left a huge vacuum as far as leadership in the camp goes.
Well, it will take years to have a leader like him in the camp, uh, because the leader needs to be brave enough. Like he was outspoken. He didn't really, care. The death threat, and he tried to lead the people continuously. So now we have the leadership crisis. It will be a big vacuum, and it will take years to get a person like him. So the Bangladesh government, at least the foreign minister and also the home minister promised, they will bring this criminal to the justice. So we have to wait and see. Until yesterday, they have arrested 5%, but we don't know whether they belong to this criminal gang group. So the justice is depend on how the Bangladesh authority work. If they arrested the real culprit behind this killing, the justice will be served. We hope that they will do the best, but still, it is the national level investigation because this is the fate of the more than a million people. So if they don't take the proper action against this criminal gang, this more than a million people, until they can go back to their homeland, they will really suffer.
Well, Nay, thank you very much for that and for taking time out and talking to us this morning on Salam Media on News and Views. We wish you all the best. We do appreciate you taking time out and talking to us. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
Co-founder Free Rohingya Coalition, Nathan Lwin, joining us this morning. And with that, the time is headed for 9:46 a.m. One more ad break on this morning's edition of News and Views. We come back, we'll be joined by Yusuf Abramji. We're talking vaccine administration.